Right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Now, as some of you may know, the left-wing media are smearing Boris Johnson in relation to the police being called to his flat that he shares with his girlfriend early yesterday morning. Now, of course, it's a politically motivated story provided by his neighbours to The Guardian, who've then spread it around to the other media shitweasels. They also claim to have listened to a recording, allegedly made by the neighbours, in relation to the argument that the police were called for. So let's check out the Guardian article quickly. Now, the article titles Boris Johnson, police called to loud altercation at potential PM's home. Exclusive. Neighbour records shouting and banging at flat MP shares with Carrie Symonds, who is his girlfriend. Police were called to the home of Boris Johnson and his partner Carrie Symonds in the early hours of Friday morning after neighbours heard a loud altercation involving screaming, shouting and banging. So it's a couple having an argument then, yeah? Now, the argument could be heard outside the property where the potential future Prime Minister is living with Symonds, a former Conservative Party head of press. A neighbour told The Guardian they heard a woman screaming followed by slamming and banging. At one point, Symonds could be heard telling Johnson to get off me and get out of my flat. Well, where's some evidence of that then, please? You know, evidence, Guardian. Should have led with that maybe. Now, the neighbours said that after becoming concerned, they knocked on the door but received no response. I was hoping that someone would answer the door and say we're okay. I knocked 3 times and no one came to the door. I bet you bloody didn't. The neighbour decided to call 999. 2 police cars and a van arrived within minutes, shortly after midnight, but left after receiving reassurances from both individuals in the flat that they were safe, obviously. When contacted by The Guardian on Friday, police initially said they had no record of a domestic incident at the address, but when given the case number and reference number as well as identification markings of the vehicles that were called at, police issued a statement saying, at 02400 hours, on Friday the 21st of June, police responded to a call from a local resident in South London. The caller was concerned for the welfare of a female neighbour. Police attended and spoke to all occupants of the address who were all safe and well. There was no offence or concerns apparent to the officers and there was no cause for police action. Johnson and Symonds have increasingly appeared together at public events in recent weeks. The former Mayor of London topped Thursday's ballot of Conservative MPs in the party leadership contest and is now the favourite against Jeremy Hunt to be the next Prime Minister. The neighbour said they recorded the altercation from inside their flat out of concern for Symonds. Out of what concern? You know, what reason do you have to have concern to be recording people? On the recording, heard by The Guardian, Johnson can be heard refusing to leave the flat and telling Symonds to get off my fucking laptop, before there is a loud crashing noise. Symonds is heard saying Johnson had ruined a sofa with red wine. You just don't care for anything because you're spoiled. You have no care for money or anything. The neighbour said there was a smashing sound of what sounded like plates. There was a couple of very loud screams that I'm certain were Carrie, and she was shouting to get out a lot. She was saying, get out of my flat, and he was saying no. And then there was silence after the screaming. My partner, who was in bed half asleep, had heard a loud bang in the house shook. Like, loud screams, what was they? A screaming argument, you know what I mean? She makes it out like the screams were death screams, like someone's murdering her. Johnson left his wife, Marina Wheeler, last year and began a relationship with Symonds, who has been credited with revitalising his appearance and approach to politics. She was part of his team when he publicly launched his campaign for the Tory leadership earlier this month. In recent weeks, the couple have been sharing a flat in a converted Victorian house. It has been reported that they intend to move to Downing Street together if he is elected leader. Johnson's office was contacted earlier on Friday for comment, but had not responded by the time of publication. Now, there's a reason why I read out that entire boring-ass article. It's because The Guardian claimed to have the recording, but failed to put it in the article. Why? Does it show that it's just a standard argument and there was absolutely no reason for it to ever become a news story? I expect so. Has this neighbour bigged it up a bit because apparently they're a left-wing supporter? Probably. I would be sure that they have. I mean, you see where she says, where is it? There was smashing sound of what sounded like plates. There was a couple of very loud screams that I'm certain were Carrie, and she was screaming and she was shouting to get out. So they were certain they were Carrie and she was screaming because they're having an argument, but you're trying to insinuate like he was hurting her. Now, of course, The Guardian are not the only ones reporting on this, but they were the first to report on it, as obviously the person's phoned them up for the political hit piece. But by the fact that the person had the identification markings of the vehicles that were called, reference numbers and all this case numbers, I would say that this person had an aim beforehand when they called the police to make sure they got all of the details so they could get as much details out to the press about it. Now, I wonder if there was even an argument at all based around this. Where's the evidence from the Guardian? Where's the recording? Where's the neighbour with the recording? Why have we not been shown this recording, or let us listen to the recording? What's happening there? I mean, the BBC's report on it even says that they haven't heard the recording. So what is it, just the Guardian who have the recording and they're keeping it to themselves? Why don't they let us hear it? You want to print a story about it, you might as well let us hear it. Right, before I go, Boris, I think the Guardian's got something to say to you, mate.
Stop punching your old woman about then, wanker!
So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. It was just a quick one about the Boris Johnson bullshit that the Guardian and others are printing in their true shitweasel fashion. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think him and his missus have had an argument, or do you think it's all a load of bollocks? Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and share the video as it helps a lot, and I'll catch you all in the next video.